Welcome to the Alita Army channel. This is Radio KAOS, the voice of the Alita Army, episode 94, Alita vs. Cyborg, made in 1989, not 1987, yay for my typos. Two old school Cyborg stories, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gumu, and the greatly desired sequels. I'm your host for this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, depending where you are in the world, Max Tack, and with me are Muskogee Creek from Denver, Colorado. G'day, Muskogee.
Hokahei Alita Army, and I am in Linville, North Carolina.
Oh, that's right. You buggered off, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I buggered off over to North Carolina.
So, yep, he's in a different spot, but still in the US. And, of course, we've got Star of LM pushing the buttons in the background in Michigan. G'day, Star, if you can push enough buttons to actually say hello. Yes. Okay. Did everybody hear Star then? Because sometimes that doesn't happen. I'm hoping that you did. Okay, there'll be a delay to find out about that. But while we're waiting, we don't have any guests today. So it's just a very small crew with an interesting little topic. But before we get onto the topic, we might as well crush the news. So let me just share my screen with the millions of buttons you need to press to make this happen. That one there, share. Okay, Tony, can you pick up that share, please? Oh, and it's working. Excellent. Okay, so Twitterverse says Alita Army. After dialing in my settings, I'm pleased to reveal Alita in resin. This will be soon followed by others, and I'll post as I complete them. This is from GB. So we've got resin Alitas. This looks like the pose just after she's jumped through the now massive hole in the floor of the Kansas bar.
So he's got a 3D printer, I guess.
Yep. She's fallen many meters, hit that pile of rubble, slid down, and stood up looking around. So I think that's the pose there. So that's the doll body. He's got a couple of copies there. But yeah, that looks like 3D printing. A bit of rubble on the bottom to make the base look interesting. And looks like it needs some undercoat and some paint, and that will look excellent. So yeah, good going, GB. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's nice.
The detail in the clothing.
Yeah.
With the creases. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in the boots, if you look at the boots, it's got some detail there, too.
Yeah. So there you go. Oh, I haven't liked that yet. What? Okay, let's like that. Alrighty, so that's the first one. Next up, Angelus, who was going to host today, but apparently his head's exploding, so he's not here. He's off looking for his head or pieces of it around the room. So, yeah, runners. So somebody's got up there with the paint bottles, looking at the name of the paint brand, Angelus. Seems interesting that Angelus found that. But, there you go. Somebody's got a bit of manga going on there on the side of their, looks like a tennis shoe or a court shoe of some description.
I don't think it's a court. It's got those corrugated stuff on the bottom there. I don't think that's a court shoe. Court shoes tend to be, not ridged like that is. So.
Oh, that's just ridging along the edge. It's got a very flat base, which suggests a court shoe. Normally, runners and things like that have a big gap under the middle so that when you walk, it compresses. But court shoes tend to be completely flat, so you don't slip. Yeah. How do I know this? I've played a lot of court games in my time.
Oh.
Basketball, badminton, tennis. So, yeah. But yeah, very nice artwork. I like it a lot. I still have my Alita runners that I use on the treadmill every night. So
I guess the Creek's gonna have to get some powerlifting shoes with Alita on. I mean, with Alita on the powerlifting shoes. So
yeah, well, if you can't find any, you just have to buy a pair of white powerlifting shoes and then get them over to Cran.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Get it to work on the side.
Cran would shoot me if I did that. Oh yeah.
Why would she shoot you?
She's got enough to do.
But she loves being busy.
Yeah.
Okay, we got this week's Schmidt report. Charlie says the numbers updated 25th of July 2021. US Blu-ray sales had nothing to report on Alita. July 25, 21. It is estimated that Alita had 87.9 million of worldwide profit. As of July 25th, 21, it is estimated that Alita has sold 2.9 million Blu-rays worldwide.
Nice.
So that's pretty good going.
Yeah.
Lots of small numbery things.
That's cool. I mean, Alita's been out of the cinema now for 2.5 years. Plus, we had COVID, and she's still selling nearly 3 million Blu-rays. That's pretty good.
Well, I think it's one of those sleeper hit kind of deals where people keep discovering it and go, "Oh God, I need that Blu-ray."
Yeah.
They find out that they can watch it in 3D or 4K, and they just go, "Oh, I'm going to snap that up."
Yeah, we were talking about this on the stream last night when I was doing some weightlifting with friends, and I was wearing my Alita powerlifting shirt, or muscle shirt, rather. And one of my friends said, "What have you got to do with Alita Battle Angel?" I said, "Basically, you got 30 minutes." So, but now
you kept it down to 30 minutes. You did well.
Yeah, but no, we didn't do that. We were there to lift. But both of them said, "Yeah, that was a great movie." And they're not in the Elite Army, but they had seen it, and they really liked the movie. So.
People tell you that they like the thing that you really like.
Yes.
Makes you feel like the world is going in the right direction.
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, he loves to chuck in a pretty picture.
Oh yeah.
Of our gal, and there she is.
Yep.
That's been face apped a little, I think, with the longer hair and the lippy.
Yeah. That's Creek's niece.
That I like as well. And in general news, CBR has put out an article this week. 10 manga creators who had no involvement in the anime adaptation. And where are we? What number are we? Scrolling down.
Oh, good. The closer you get to the bottom, the better.
Definitely.
Oh, look at that.
There he is, number
there
3.
Is. We're number 3, yeah.
Yukito Kishiro was too busy to supervise Battle Angel OVAs. Yes, he was. He was still writing the original volumes at the time.
Plus, he really didn't like them either, did he? I think
that's because he was hands off, and they decided to do some things that weren't in his original.
Yeah.
Without saying, "Hey, we're going to change it," and it was too late to do anything about it. And he went, "Right, well, there won't be any more."
Yeah. Well, I read something somewhere where he had said, or at least it sounded to me like he said, he was there, and I think he was giving input, and they were basically not going to take his input, and he was like, "So why am I even here then?" And I think that was before it was even really made. So I don't know. I think I could have had some wrong information, or I could be misremembering, but I seem to remember hearing or reading that somewhere.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, that would piss you off if you were asked to be there for input and you created the IP. I mean, holy crap, they should at least listen to you.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Good news is that in contrast, he was involved in the live action Alita Battle Angel and loved the resulting movie. So there you go.
Yeah.
The Rodriguez-led adaptation to live action got the thumbs up, which is important because I do know that there was a few manga diehards that were saying, "Oh no, Kishiro didn't like it. Oh no, it was terrible." No, that was the OVAs, not the movie. He loved.
Plus, he really liked Rosa, didn't he? I mean,
yeah.
The way he said, leaned over to her and whispered in her ear, "Alita," And I think I saw an interview where it just really took her breath away or something, you know. And I think he would have been okay with Rosa just, you know, them not, you know, doing any CGI, you know, but.
Well, that's what he said when he first met her. He said, "Why are you CGIing this woman? She's beautiful."
Yeah, exactly.
A statement often mentioned around the traps in the Alita army.
Yes, especially by
But
the creek.
yeah, who beat us out? So D Grey Man and Nausicaa. Oh, really? Nausicaa. Oh, well, there you go.
I don't believe I've seen those.
Oh, Nausicaa's quite good, but it's really old school. It was like
Well, yeah, that says
85.
The Americanized Nausicaas. I don't know if that's a different version or what. I don't know what they mean by the
Could be.
Americanized.
I'm not sure. Yeah, see, back in the 80s, well, it was late 70s, early 80s with what became Robotech
Mm-hmm.
in you know in the West. I'll just say the West because it was down here too. And yeah, they basically took three vaguely related animes from the same company, and Harmony Gold got a hold of them and turned them into a trilogy. Basically recut them and rewrote the story, and created Robotech from what was Macross and two other shows, which were quite similar but not meant to be in the same timeline. So yeah, that sort of thing in the 80s at least was quite common, that the original story would be thrown out and a new one written to fit the visuals, which has been the basis for a lot of people saying that sub is better than dub because they don't trust the dub. But I think that the dubs these days are a lot closer because there's a lot more stuff being dubbed, so they don't really have the time to recut them. They just, especially with simul dub, which is supposed to be done very shortly after it's released in Japan. So.
Well, you know, the only problem I have with subs, you know, is your eyes keep going down to read and you go back up to look, you know, and sometimes the translation is not perfect. And, you know, they'll say something that is in Japanese, you know, it'll be like really like short, but the sub will be real long, so you don't have time to read it before you get up there and look at the picture, you know, or the video, and it's gone, you know. So that's the only problem I have with subs, you know. But
well, the other problem with subs is this is a particular instance, but it happens more or less in other animes. Is that there's an anime called My Teenage Romance Snafu, which, if you like high school romance at all, but in this particular one, the main character is very cynical, but he's hyper intelligent, and when he goes in, I wouldn't call them tirades, but basically he makes a speech and just blows everyone away. But the way he does it causes, like, I wouldn't say mayhem, but it pisses a lot of people off. But he talks really fast, and it's really quite complex what the statements are because they're cynical, and you sort of got to read them several times to process it. And when it's translated from somebody speaking really fast in Japanese, it goes past so fast that you have to go back and pause it and read it and go, okay, what is he trying to say here? Okay, I think it's this. Right. Okay, now I can go forward.
well, it's not only that. It's like when you're watching an anime. I know I watch some of these anime shorts, and I like the anime shorts where they catch the characters by surprise doing something that's embarrassing or something like that, and then they'll put a little extra, you know, kind of into the video to make it look like they're you know, they're going off the rails, and they talk really, really, really fast, saying a lot of words. And of course, all that gets on the sub, and then it's gone. So you don't really have a chance to see the, you know, the actual reaction of the character, you know. So.
And Enigma Seeker has just reminded us of a bit of news from last week, but it's worth repeating. What we're trying to do at the moment is in Netflix. We want to try and get
Yes.
Alita on American Netflix, on USA Netflix. It's in Canada, so it's obviously possible to do, but it would be really nice if we could get Alita on Netflix, and like there's probably hundreds of millions of people in the US who are signed up to Netflix, so that would increase the audience significantly. So
Yes.
Enigma's asking everybody to go to their Netflix account. Probably easiest thing to do on a PC, because the apps don't obviously give you every option there is when you go onto the website. But go to netflix.com and log in, and then look for a button that allows you to request a movie. I'm not entirely sure where it is, but Enigma tells me that it's there, and you can put in Alita as a request. And if enough people do that, hopefully Netflix will request it from Disney, and Disney, who always want money, will allow it to happen. And of course, the more requests there are, the more people are asking for Alita through different channels, the more that Disney realizes that it's a money spinner and they should make a sequel. So that's the plan.
Yes.
Get on it.
Yes.
So
yeah, Enigma got on me yesterday, I guess, when I said I hadn't done it yet. But as soon as I get back to Colorado, which is going to be tomorrow, then I'll definitely do it.
Cool. So it's time for Creaky's What's on YouTube today.
Yeah. Okay. Can you? Yeah, there we go. So anyway, folks are getting wise. The Creaky's no longer at the top.
Oh, no.
But, that's all right.
Top slot.
That's okay. I don't care. I just want good content for our girl. But anyway, here's how you do it. You click on, you type in Alita Battle Angel in the search bar or in the text box. Then you click on this week, and then of course it does its thing there. Then you click on filters again. Come on, machine. And then you click on upload date. And of course, it'll, as soon as my slow computer uploads it. And well, it did upload it. So there it is. But anyway, you see a lot of good content there. Once again, now this is not the actual movie, I don't believe. So you want to be aware of that. When you see some maybe YouTubers, I don't know about these guys. They may be okay, but be careful about clicking on those, because some of them will have something in the description. They try to take you off to their website or something like that. Here's one by Alita Army, Turlo Dorman. He's got a video out there. And then, of course, there's one, I guess that's Hindi, isn't it? So, and then there's another movie. And you can see the content. And this is week. This isn't forever, from way back. I mean, this is just this week, and it's just scrolling down. Oh, there's Creaky's latest video.
All the way down there. What the hell?
Yeah, I know. So anyway, and I got it premiere at 4:00 too. So that's okay. But anyway, and there's our stream from last night.
Jeffrey's self-promoting.
Yes.
What about my stuff? Damn it!
Okay. We'll keep scrolling down, Jeffrey. We'll see.
I think he must have tweeted about it.
Yeah, I highly recommend this video of Robert Rodriguez doing his 10-minute chocolate cooking show. But it's pretty neat, really, how he does chocolate. So, and then there's I guess that doesn't look like KAOS's, but KAOS does this too. He plays Martian Memory, and he'll record it and upload it. So. Or he goes live with it, actually. And of course, there's some. There's a. Now, by the way, you do want to type in Alita Battle Angel. If you just type in Alita, You'll get Alita Battle Angel too, but you'll also get some other YouTubers whose name is Alita. You know, and this has nothing to do with the movie. So, but there's another one by Alita Army. And you see, there's that really neat video I like. This is, I guess, what we kind of base the movie is based on the backstory on that, I guess, or at least that ties into it, not based on it, but ties into it. And then, there's another one by Creaky. Yes, okay.
And this is why you don't get through many of your homeworks.
That's right. Yeah, Maxie gives me an F on my homework all the time. So, so anyway, I'm just trying to. Oh, there's another one by Creaky. Look at that. Well, my scroller here is not scrolling too good, so I'm gonna come over here and do it this way. I guess it's because it's got to load up. I guess. So you can see there's a lot of content out there. A whole bunch of it. Yeah, it's kind of. I think it's come to the end pretty much. So you know, because yeah, there we go.
Okay, before we get on to the main topic, I'll just show this if I can find the right window.
Yeah, I guess you can. You can
there
take
we
me
go.
off
Okay.
the.
Yeah, drop that share and pick up mine if you would, please. Star. Okay, so this is what Jeffrey was talking about. What about the manga carving? In his inimitable fashion, he's been jumping on his CNC machine and knocked this one out. So that's a panel from Last Order where Alita, well, actually, I should say Yoko, has gone through an entire corridor of defenders in Jiru / Cathrides who are defending the control room of Melchizedek from her insertion. She's gone in there to screw with the guidance systems of the colony ships to destroy them. And she's lamenting the fact that she had to murderate a whole corridor of guys.
Yeah.
She looks less than pleased.
Yes.
But it's
that's
nice
excellent.
So there you go, Jeffrey.
If any of you guys want Jeffrey to do something for you like that, I know he did my Kansas bar sign. It's excellent, man. I am proud of that thing, you know. So
I'm sure he is too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Jeff never ceases to amaze. Well done, mate. So there it is. And now I will get rid of that share.
Okay, let me pull mine back up here.
And you. And now you've got the slideshow, didn't you?
Yep.
Loves his slides, does Creaky.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that one. So I guess we're going to go right to the main topic, which is going to be the comparison of these two shows. There's going to be some differences here for sure, because one of the biggest difference, I guess, in terms of main characters, of course, Alita is a cyborg, but Jean-Claude Van Damme on the right over, he's not a cyborg. He's basically, you know, someone who's I guess. Well, first of all, let me just say this. He's in a kind of a dystopian world, kind of like Alita Battle Angel is. In other words, his world, or that world in that movie, Cyborg, is it's been kind of ravaged by a plague, and I guess we all kind of know what that is, don't we? Since we've gone through COVID, and this plague has killed off a major percentage of the human population, almost to where they were worried about extinction of the human race and all that. Certainly, we're not there with COVID, but we understand that. Whereas Alita, she's also in a dystopian world, but it's a kind of a post-war world. But that actually has gone away, and it's been that war is 300 years old, or is in the past. Whereas this world is more recent. So you'll see in the movie, if you watch it, a lot of ruins. The cities are in disarray. People are living, they're just scratching out a survival, basically. Whereas in Iron City, as rough as it is, at least you can live in like an apartment or a house or something like that. You could go buy food and that kind of thing with credits. Whereas with this world, it's not like this. People have to, they have to grow their own food. As a matter of fact, Jean-Claude Van Damme's character, which is a guy named Gibson Rickenbacker, he had a family and they lived in a house, away from the city, and his wife, planted, crops or vegetables and stuff like that. And that's how they ate. Whereas, Alita living with Ito, Ito was able to get food because he could go to wherever he went to. I guess it didn't really go into that into the movie too much, but he could go to what we would consider similar to the function of a grocery store, and just go buy food. Or he could go to the market and he could buy, merch there. So anyway, but it is similar in that regard, in that it's a dystopian world. Now, in terms of the time frame of this, of course, Alita Battle Angel set in the year 2563, whereas they didn't really go into this as much in the movie, but it's in I think it's in the 21st century. So in other words, this movie was actually shot in 1989, and they were actually presenting this like this is a future, I think it's 2031 or something like that. And, they have technology that will allow them to make total replacement cyborgs, in that case, or at least, put a significant amount of a person can be a cyborg. And, it's kind of it's, what we would think now in the future would be like 10 years, which I don't believe we'll be ready to do total replacement cyborgs in 10 years. I don't think that's going to happen, 100 years maybe, but
So you better hang on, Creaky.
no problem. Like I've always said, in the year 2563, I'm going to be Alita's uncle. So, she'll be my niece, so adopted niece, whatever. But, I mean, it's in that regard, it's kind of similar being in that dystopian world. I guess the main difference here is that the cyborg in this movie is actually an agent, and she has information that will help them come up with a cure for this plague called the living death. Now, it didn't say whether it was zombies and stuff like that. They didn't go into that, but it is a plague, and much of the human race has died off from it. And what happens is that this I guess this gang leader, they call him pirates. This guy, his name is Fender Tremolo, and he's kind of the leader of this pirate band, and he's a real badass. This guy is, and what he wants is he's gotten wind of this cyborg, because one of the things she has to do is she has to go from New York to Atlanta. Now you have to keep in mind there's no freeways or motorways or interstates or whatever, depending on where you are, what you call those, those large highways. Those things are not functional. So they have to kind of either walk, or they got to take like a boat, like what some of them did. The pirates, they had a boat that they could use, not a boat like you would think of like Pirates of the Caribbean, but they did have a boat. And but anyway, they get wind, or this guy Fender Tremolo, he gets wind of this cyborg that has this information that will help develop a cure for this plague called the living death. Now, what he wants is he wants to get that information because he wants to become, he wants the power, because right now he's just a gang leader. But if he can get that information, I think one quote in the movie is that I will be a god, because everybody will be coming to him for the information or to get cured, and that's kind of what he's after.
They are a gang of murder hobos.
Yeah, well, they are hobos, and
Yeah,
he's
they're
got to.
murder hobos. That's the term for it. When they people. Well, it's actually a role playing term where your party just tends to kill everybody they meet because they can.
Okay, well, that's what they
And they
are.
are quite literally murder hobos. They want a boat, so they kill the people who own the boat and take it. And
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
just kill them; they torture them to death.
Yeah. So you can see though the similarity, I guess, in the two is that you see Alita there on the left. She's certainly being operated on by Ito, that kind of stuff. But on the right, it's kind of similar, isn't it? Although I would say the eyes are certainly different. Because we think our girls' eyes are a lot prettier. But you can see some similarities there. So the thought was, I guess, that this person on the right and her name is let me. Her name is Pearl Prophet, and she's she is an agent. And it's for some government group or something. I can't remember the name. I
They
don't
were
think it's a.
apparently the last doctors in the US.
Yeah, and they're in Atlanta, Georgia. So the
Probably at the
idea.
CDC.
Maybe so. Maybe it is a CDC. But she's trying to get from New York to Atlanta with this information, and she's intercepted, by these pirates. Okay, and then of course, this guy, this the head of the pirate band says, I'm gonna get you to Atlanta, and if you don't agree, you have a choice. You can either let me take you to Atlanta, or you will experience the horror. And then he holds up a head, a decapitated head of one of his, because he's a pretty
The, the,
badass
the
guy.
guy, the head was of the guy who took her to New York, who
Yeah,
was her
that's
protector.
right. Yeah, he
And
was an agent too.
one thing you didn't mention was why she became a cyborg. It was necessary for her to become a cyborg so that she could carry the information in the first place. She needed to be a cyborg to interact with the computer systems that they were
Yes.
getting information out of in New York. So she
Yeah.
gave up her humanity to try and save humanity, which is
Yeah,
an
and her
interesting.
thought was, I guess that one doctor said, you do realize this is going to change your life, and you can't go back. And she still says, like, well, that's okay. We've lost our as a human race. We can lose our humanity or something like that. And me losing my humanity to save the human race is she saw as a positive thing. So anyway, she's I guess the quintessential good, good person, I guess, or not a good guy, I guess. So, and you can see there on the right, you can see her brain is encapsulated and that kind of stuff, into that whatever that receptacle is there. So, some similarities there, in between her and Alita. Now, the biggest difference is she is not a martial arts person at all. That she's just like anyone else. When she puts like a wig on over that, she looks like a regular human. You know, and of course, Alita looks like a regular human, except for the fact you can see her body.
The,
Is
the,
like the doll
the
body.
general parlance for prophet is a mule, somebody who carries information.
Yes, that's right. So, but just their appearance and what they do. I mean, this woman here is obviously. I'm not saying Alita's not smart. She is very smart, but this person's almost like a scientist. She's not a scientist. She's an agent, but she's she's kind of up in the. I guess she was up in the government or something. Who knows? Whereas Alita's a teenager. Now granted she was in the military and all that, but this is a full adult on the right. Not a teenager like you see on the left. So, and you see the eyeballs there on the lower right, a lot different than our girls. So,
There was actually quite a good scene technically where they were working on her and they pushed the eye out and it kind of went up
Yes.
and the front came off and there was trailing fiber optics, and I thought
Yes,
that was
that was.
pretty well done.
Oh yeah, that was very realistic, wasn't it? Yeah, because you couldn't, in the old days, I guess in old movies you'd see wires, but fiber optics certainly are going to be able to carry more data. So yeah, that was very well done for sure. And her thing is, no matter who does it, she's got to get to Atlanta. So she actually makes a deal, with this pirate, to say, okay, I'll go with you to Atlanta because that's what I got to do. I got to get to Atlanta. And of course, John Claude Van Damme's character comes up on her, and the idea he wants to rescue her, and she said, well, no, I can't go with you because these guys can get me to Atlanta because he had like 20 pirates or something like that. So I mean, she was with a pretty significant contingent of people to protect her. Whereas Jean Claude Van Damme is one person. He had a woman helping him, and her thought, what she told him, she said, if I go with you, they will catch us. They might kill me, which would end the whole thing, and they'll definitely kill you. So she's kind of weighing the possibilities, almost like a computer would, about what her best odds of getting to Atlanta were. So she tells him that.
And then they end up chasing the guy anyway.
Yeah, that's right. They chased him and that woman, not Natty Simmons, I think's her name, or something like that, in the movie.
Gratuitous butt shot at the beach girl.
Yeah, yeah, that was good. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Natty Simmons was her name. That's right. So, but anyway, that it's the whole thing. There is kind of a similarity too in that the idea is to get from New York to Atlanta. Okay, and that's in that movie. In Alita Battle Angel, of course, the idea is that you want to get from Iron City to Zalem. That's in the movie. Now, I think we're going to find out a little bit later that there's going to be a Jeru, so that's going to change things when we get that third movie, by the way, or fourth movie, Maxie. So,
we never know where these little nuggets are going to come in because they actually hinted at it in the novelization, which would then have been in the original script, but it was cut for time.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but a couple of things about this guy that Jean Claude Van Damme plays. This guy named Gibson Rickenbacker, and he is kind of like a hired fighter or soldier, like a mercenary or something like that. And of course, Alita, she becomes a hunter warrior. So it's kind of similar in that regard. But there's a twist with this movie, Cyborg, too, that's kind of also similar to Alita in that, he's not just trying to, save this cyborg, so she can get to Atlanta, and then give the information to the scientists there, I guess at the CDC, but in Atlanta. But, he's definitely wanting to do that. But this gang of pirates actually killed his family. So he's got kind of a revenge motive going on with these guys. He wants to kill them. And that's kind of similar to Alita too, because Alita wants to get at Nova because she sees him as being killing Hugo, so she's got a revenge motive going on, So
it's not just killing Hugo. He was probably involved in killing Mars.
Yeah, that didn't come out in the movie too much, but if you read the manga, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so
well, the special the extras on the DVD suggested that that's what happened, that a nanite plague was introduced to Mars and it killed most of the people.
Yeah, it was delivered by a bomb too, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, but basically, the person who would have had the skill to do that is Nova. So
yeah, that's right.
I think he was involved.
So anyway, so and in a very real way, she wants to get at Nova for that too. So that's sort of similar to the movies. I think we've talked in past streams about how these storylines are so similar, and it's not a coincidence. Because they kind of play on it. They get ideas from other movies and that kind of thing.
Well, it's possible, given that this came out in '89, that Kishiro had seen it.
Yeah.
If he was doing research into cyborgs.
Yeah.
So it's possible that this movie may have triggered a few things in the manga.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it could have, because I think he wrote Battle Angel Alita, didn't he, in 1990, or was it 91 or somewhere in there, the original, I guess.
Gumu was originally released in November 1990 in Japan. So
okay, yeah.
Before that, he was writing it. So he wouldn't have been too far into it before the first one was released, because it was serialized. So, he'd just be trying to keep ahead of the release schedule. So I expect that he may have had the opportunity to see this the year before.
Yeah, because Jean-Claude Van Damme, he was pretty big back in the 80s and early 90s. Excuse me. One thing I would say too about this is that both the movies, of course, have neat fight scenes in them. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, very similar in some regards to Alita. When Alita fights Grishka the second time, she gets hacked to bits. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. So we forgot to say that. So anyway, but in Jean-Claude Van Damme's case, he's trying to fight off all these pirates, and of course they wear him down, and then the big pirate comes to get him. This Fender Tremolo, and kind of beats him up. After he's been chased by these other pirates and been beat on and stuff like that, and he kills a bunch of them before they get him. So I guess that pirate gang started out with about 20, and by the time they got to Atlanta, they had like 4 or something like that. And but the guy beats him up really bad, and they actually put him up on a cross, like they crucified him up real high and hoisted him up about 20 feet, or say about 6 or 8 meters, up in the air, and just leave him there, leave him there for dead, And of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme, just like Alita, some folks might just give it up, just kind of like Alita would have given it up. And he actually, he breaks the cross, it comes falling down, and of course this woman that was helping him, she'd gotten knocked out or something like that in another fight, and she came over and kind of helped him get out of the cross. But it's kind of like Alita. Alita was rescued by Hugo, Ito, and McTee. So it was similar in that regard too. That they did have a rescuer. Or that the titular character has a rescuer. So anyway, that's where that was. It's very similar in that regard too.
He got over those crossbow bolts through the wrist rather quickly, I thought.
Yeah, he did. That was and of course I don't know if anybody knows how far it is. The distance between New York and Atlanta. You're not going to walk that in 2 or 3 days. That's not going to happen. Because it's quite a ways. I'm not sure how many miles or kilometers it is, but it's a ways.
There's a range of mountains that sort of runs. It's not specifically between those 2 points, but it's between the states that those cities exist in.
Yes.
Through what's the name of the mountain range it runs up?
The Appalachian Mountains.
That's them. Yes, thank you. But there's a we call it a bushwalk, but you guys would call it a hiking trail. And it runs along those mountains for many hundreds of miles.
The Creaky has actually hiked that trail. I have.
Well, there you go. And yeah. I'm bringing it up, and I'm on the other side of the world. So there you go.
That's cool.
I saw a show about it, and it takes 6 months to walk that trail.
Yeah.
If you're walking it every day, so it's a long distance.
And you got the idea in the movie. It was like maybe 3 days, something like that. Of course, now they did take a boat. So I don't know how that boat. I can't imagine goes more than 15 miles an hour, or say maybe 25 kilometers an hour, maybe, but my house here in Linville is actually in the Appalachian Mountains. So, yeah, I'm quite familiar with the Appalachian Mountains. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, Alita, like I mentioned before, she's a hunter warrior. She's ex-military. She's a pro motorball player, and this person, Pearl Prophet, who is the cyborg. She doesn't have any martial arts skills, but she is like a government agent, and she is. I guess Maxie, I don't know. What do you think? I think she is. She's like a total replacement cyborg herself, isn't she? Or if she isn't,
yeah. Well, let's just say that if you look at that picture on the right, clearly her skull's been replaced. Yeah. The face is artificial. The brain's sitting in a artificial skull, much like Alita's does. And there's not much, like, you can't see a spine there anymore, because the spine would be running where that gap is. So I suspect she's a total replacement cyborg, because if you're going to take away the connection between the head and the body, well, what's the body going to be doing? So,
well, exactly.
You've probably got an artificial body as well.
Well, she's got cybernetic eyes too. So I mean, yeah, she's very much. That's very similar to Alita. She's a total replacement cyborg. So I guess they didn't want to make her a good fighter though, because if they did that, I guess Jean-Claude Van Damme would have too much competition. I guess maybe, I don't know. So. But anyway, that's kind of the similarity in the movie there. That it does involve two total replacement cyborgs. And of course, we all know in the movie Alita Battle Angel, Nova, Vector, and Gawishka are the three primary antagonists in the movie. Okay, but in the movie Cyborg, this character Fender Tremolo, who's the gang leader, or pirate leader, and his gang, they are the antagonists. So, I guess you could say it's sort of similar in that, you had a lot of those cyborgs in the motorball that were, kind of enlisted by Vector to kill Alita. So, I guess you could very much say they were a gang, and they were after her. And of course, this gang, they're not principally after this Gibson Rickenbacker, but he is a thorn in their side. He keeps following them, and they have to deal with him, and he kills off almost all of them. Well, he does. Spoiler alert: he does kill off all of them eventually, But so very.
Well, they attempted to kill him several times, and he didn't stay dead. So
yeah, that's right. Well, it's one of those things too. It's like you see this in a movie. Like I remember when that next to the last fight between this Gibson Rickenbacker and this Fender Tremolo, where he's down, and he stabbed him with a knife and all that. And I remember watching that movie. I remember this the first time when I saw it. I said, I'd cut his head off just to be safe. And sure as hell, they think they've got it won, and this guy comes back, and there's another fight, and he does end up getting killed at the end. The bad guy does, And even then, when I saw it, I said, no, I'd still cut his head off just to be sure, because he was a really bad villain, and that is one of the good things about the movie too. When you watch this movie, you really hate this guy. I mean, he does things like he's they're kind of going from place to place, and they'll happen upon a village or something like that. And instead of just going in there and say, hey, we need some supplies. Can you give us what you can spare or something like that? He doesn't do that. He just wipes it out. He just burns it he takes all the supplies he needs and burns the village to the ground,
And tortures people to death. You can't really forget the whole tortures everybody to death.
Yes, he is the quintessential evil bad guy. And by the end of the movie, you're like, I want this guy dead. I want him dead. Because he keeps coming back, and he has this really evil looking face, and he's got weird looking eyes and stuff like that. So they did a really good job on that one.
I was fully expecting, twist, he's a cyborg too, but no.
He's only the one. Yeah, he's a meat boy, as they would say. Yeah. So
played by Vincent Klein, if anybody knows the actor.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't
Just
seen
before
it
you
in a
go
while.
on, there's a little bit of context I'd like to add from Google, because Google's my friend.
Okay.
So 81% of Google users like the movie, but it's got 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb and 22% on Rotten Tomatoes, because
Oh,
tomatoes.
yeah.
The budget for this particular movie was a paltry $500,000. So
Yeah.
I feel like they did a lot with what they had, because
Yeah.
you imagine that it's 400, like Alita Battle Angel had 400 times the budget. So
Yes.
even with inflation, it's still a stupidly large amount compared to what they spent on this movie. This movie made well, they're not entirely sure by the sounds of things, somewhere around 9.5 to 10.2 million box office. So I guess that was worldwide. So that's not a lot of money. Even back in those days, it's still not a lot of money. But obviously, it's multiple times what the budget was. So at least they were profitable. So there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Go ahead.
The extensive use of perms I thought was impressive in a post-apocalyptic environment. Obviously, the hairdressers weren't destroyed because every second person had a perm.
Yeah, that Natty Simmons, she had a perm, didn't she?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, And I guess I don't remember Jean-Claude Van Damme's wife having a perm. I think she had short hair, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah, she did. But even in the flashbacks, Jean-Claude Van Damme had a perm at the back of his head.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's
It was
that's right.
permtacular.
Yeah, the hair salons were still open, I guess. So,
but this is made in the late 80s, so even the dogs had perms back then.
Yes. So anyway, but you can see they're the two main characters there. Jean-Claude Van Damme in the late 80s and 90s, he was huge.
He was a young'un too. He was very fresh-faced.
Yeah, and he is a bona fide martial artist. He's not somebody that I mean, as much as we love Rosa, and she trained hard for Alita. She trained for 6 months. But this guy on the right here, he's a practitioner. He's not, he's not somebody that just did it for a movie. I mean, like some actors. Now, of course, it's really noteworthy that Rosa worked out as hard as she did, for the movie, and then not only on martial arts, but learning how to skate. So she could do some of the motorball sequences and stuff like that. So I think in that interview, she said she was a croissant when something like that.
She was made of croissants.
Yeah, made of croissants, and then by the end of all this, she was, in great shape. So that she's to be commended for that, for sure. But this Jean-Claude Van Damme, he is an actual martial artist, yeah, very much so, and he's he does all kinds of things like lifts weights and stuff. Now I haven't seen too much of him recently. I don't know what he's doing now, but back then, I mean, he's ripped. I mean, he has big guns. He's got a 6-pack. He's in good shape. There's no doubt about it. And he stayed at it. He stayed active at it. So anyway, I guess another sort of similarity, well, not similarity, but I guess it's kind of a somewhat similar and dissimilar at the same time, and it's about the quest for power or whatever. It's like this Fender Tremolo. He wants to possess this information that this cyborg has, so he can be like as he said, he wanted to be a god. He wanted to be the most powerful person on the planet. Everybody comes to him. If you want to get cured of this plague, you got to come see me. Nova already has that power in the movie. I guess in the manga it's a little different. He's not the same. In the manga, but in the movie, we only saw like 2 sequences or 2 scenes of Nova. One when of a hologram when Alita was in that gravity chamber fighting or practicing, with Gilda. But at the end, of course, when he's kind of observing the motorball game and he takes his glasses off, and that was cool. But the idea you get in the movie there is he has the power. He's already there. He has the power over Zalem and over Iron City. Whereas this Fender Tremolo does not. He's just a gang member, but he sees an opportunity for himself to be a really powerful person on the planet. So if he has this information, so that's I guess one. It's about power, but I think that's also the biggest difference in it. One similarity is that, as we all know, at the beginning of the movie Alita Battle Angel, Ito finds Alita in the scrapyard, and he takes her back to his clinic, and he puts her into the doll body, and it's kind of he supports her. You get the feeling he's feeding her and stuff like that, because they had that little scene where she says, "You got any chocolate?" Well, he had some nice, what looks like to be broccoli and chicken and stuff like that, and she wasn't interested in that. She wanted the chocolate, but you get and she's got a roof over her head, that kind of thing. So Ito is supporting her. Now, this guy, Gibson Rickenbacker, he actually, this person, I guess, I don't know if this person's trying to rob him or whatever. Her name is Naughty Simmons. And she's played by this actress named Deborah Richter. But anyway, he kind of senses her, and he throws an object at her, one of his, I guess, a weapon that he uses to stun people. And he knocks her out, and then he kind of hangs around with her a little bit until she wakes up, And she asks, "Well, why did you help me? After you knocked me out," or something like that. And he says, "Well, I thought you were somebody else." And then she says, "Well, yeah, but you're not going to be able to get to Atlanta, to help this cyborg without my help." So anyway, the idea is there that now she's supporting him. So both of the primary characters do have another character that is supporting them. Okay, so that's kind of a similarity there. One's more of a father figure, the other one's just a friend, so. But still, the support's there. Now,
she tried to be a friend with benefits in one scene, and he turned it down.
Yes, yeah, that's right. She did try to seduce him, I guess, and he says no. So I guess he still was grieving over his wife. I guess he just wasn't there. So anyway,
revenge has no time for Nookie.
That's exactly right. So anyway, but and of course she's cute too. So I thought, when I saw that scene, I thought, dumbass. That's kind of what I thought. Kind of like when I see those anime shorts and I see these guys wake up. They got this cute anime girl next to them. They go nuts. They freak out. "What are you doing in my bed? What are you doing in my room?" And my response is always, "Dumbass." Something like this.
Well, you've got like 7 decades on them, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
You know what it's about. They're youngins. They freak out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Plus, I guess it's a cultural thing too. I guess so.
Quite probably.
Yeah, probably so.
It's funny when they freak out.
Yes, it is funny though. It's funny when they get caught doing stuff, and it surprises them and they freak out. I just laugh my head off when I see that.
It's not what it looks like.
Yes, exactly. And I guess another thing too is that this cyborg named Pearl Prophet, the agent we were talking about, Total Replacement Cyborg, this is similar to Alita, is that she's trying to get to New York from Atlanta. Rather, to Atlanta from New York, rather. Whereas Alita, certainly after Hugo gets killed, and of course, she figures out who Nova is because he's the dragon that must be slain. Now she wants to get to Zalem from Iron City. So and that's a kind of a similar thing too. Getting from, it's like an objective, to achieve. I got to get to this location, and that's very much the same thing here in this movie, Cyborg. So anyway, I think that's pretty much my take on the movie there. It's now I would say this about the movie. I mean, it's got some good moments in it and stuff like that, but it's like Maxie says, the budget was not huge, so that they did a lot with what they had, as he says. But uh, sometimes the dialogue kind of drags a little bit, I think, and uh, the story is pretty good, but sometimes they kind of struggle with getting that story out there. But I still enjoyed watching it. I still thought because I mean I watched it many years ago when it first came out, and then of course I watched it again last night. So and it's only the second time I've seen the movie, so it's not like Alita where I've watched it 40 times. But don't don't watch the movie. Don't go see it hoping to see a wonderful love story or something like this, because you're not going to get that. It's all about trying to save this cyborg with the information. And
Well, I'd say it's got two themes. One is save the world, and the other
yes,
one is get revenge.
yes, yeah, get revenge for the death of your family, and then save the world. And you kind of get the idea at the beginning of the movie that this Gibson Rickenbacker, the guy you see on the right there, at the beginning he was mostly about the revenge, but toward the end of the movie you kind of figure that maybe it's become now a gray area. Maybe they're equal, or that he does think it's important to rescue the cyborg, so she can save the world. So so he does evolve on that. So a little bit of that character building for that was okay. So what do you think, Maxie?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with your take on it. I would have to pin this very solidly within the late 80s schlock. Um, it it doesn't have the production values of Alita Battle Angel. The story is reasonable, if a little bit dragging in places. That could have to do with the quality of the editing. They did a lot of work. They tried very hard with their sets and stuff like that. There's a lot of little details which are interesting, and there's others that are like, yeah, that's what they thought the future would be like in the 80s. Okay, fair enough. The
Yeah.
perms and the fake chainmail shirts and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which I thought were rather amusing. Jean-Claude Van Damme comes across as a quite capable character. He's got like
Yes.
hidden knives and all sorts of shit all over him.
Yeah.
So he is a combat monster.
Yes.
He does tend, because I mean he looks young, and obviously his character is fairly young, so he gets blinded by revenge and walks into traps and stuff that he probably should be a bit smarter about. I found the early fights, especially that one in that building with the walls have been blown out on. They're up on the second floor. I found the choreography really slow in that one. Like,
Yes.
I could have kicked faster. That's what I felt like.
Well, another thing that I thought too was that when they were chasing Jean-Claude Van Damme, they were like screaming and yelling like they were animals.
Oh, there was a lot of that. There was
And
a lot
I'm
of
going, what the hell? You chase him, sure, but why are you acting like like a animal or a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something like that?
Well, I think maybe they were on drugs. So they were just
Possibly,
like
yeah.
the animalistic side was coming out. But yeah, there was this whole sways of this movie where the dialogue is
Yeah. Yeah.
And the boss fight at the end, both of them, and then he says,
right.
and then he says, "You fucker," and I'm like, English, yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, a word came out of his mouth finally.
Because it was a profanity, but well, you got to take what you can get with these things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's another thing about that. You mentioned the chainmail. In that last fight, he takes his armor, his chainmail off, and I'm looking at him, and of course, having seen a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and knowing how capable he is, I thought, you're an idiot. take off your armor when you're about to fight this guy. You know, you should leave your armor on is what you should do. You know,
Well, he was doing the whole fear my
macho.
barrel chest, fear my pecs, and so the other guy did the same thing, and I'm like, yeah, okay, macho to the end. Okay,
Yeah, they're both those guys. You know, Jean-Claude Van Damme, you know, and that Vincent Clem, I think is his name. They're both in excellent shape. God Almighty, those guys were ripped. You know.
Oh, yeah, they were like Adonises.
Yeah, they definitely were. And of course, Vincent Clem, he was wearing those, I guess, the contact lenses that you you know, you change your eye color with. Made him look really weird. You know, and
you see that those contact lenses are making me think that maybe he's a cyborg too, because they look quite unnatural.
Of course, at the end, you figure out he's not, because he's, you know, he gets, spoiler alert, he's ends up hanging up on a meat hook, you know. So I mean, you know, but even after that, I'd have cut his head off just to be safe. You know?
Yeah, me
too. He did come back one time before, you know. So and of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme comes back 2 times. You know.
Yeah, well, they both had the trait "won't stay dead," so
yeah. And in a very real way, Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movie is similar to Alita in that, you know, Alita, you know, I mean, Garishka, if it hadn't been for Ito, Hugo, and McTeague, you know, Alita, you know, I guess Garishka would have killed Alita, you know, but even though she was rescued, she came back, Jack, and came back stronger than before. And you got that feeling with Jean-Claude Van Damme. You're not going to keep him down. You know, it's just not going to happen, you know. And,
well, the thing that motivated him on the cross was to break the beam of the cross was remembering what these guys did to his family. And it was quite graphic. I won't spoil that bit. You can go and watch the movie to find out what they did, but it was unpleasant. He used that as his motivation to keep going.
Yeah. Now there was one thing that was similar about this movie, that when you compare it, the storyline, to the manga, because you remember at one point in the manga, in the Last Order, was it the Last Order? I can't remember, where Alita, you remember when she was a tuned agent, I guess. You know, who was the woman that she communicated with in Zalem? You know, they were connected.
Blue.
Yeah, that's right. She was wanting to go save her, whereas what happens in this movie, this Gibson Rickenbacker finds out that one of the pirates, you know, one of them was his daughter. They didn't kill his entire family, but this Tremolo guy, you know, the pirate leader, he took her, I guess, kind of like Thanos, you know, got Gamora. You know, it's kind of like that, I guess. And he finally figures out toward the end that that's his daughter, because they're both wearing the same kind of a necklace looking thing, you know. And he figures out, well, that now he's got an additional, you know, kind of incentive to, you know, kind of, you know, he's got someone in his family to save now, you know. So in addition to the cyborg with the information, he's got his daughter, you know, that he wants to save. Now he doesn't figure that out till just about the end, you know.
Well, that kind of set the time difference between when his family was killed and what we were seeing as the current time frame, because the girl in his memory when he's up on the cross is she must be like mid-teens at most.
I think less than that. I think she was maybe 10 to 12 years old, maybe. You know,
I would have thought somewhere around 12, 14, something like that. But then the girl who's playing his daughter in the current time is probably early 20s. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Obviously, some reasonable number of years has passed before he's caught up with them again.
Yeah, 8 to 10 years, and that's another thing about his perseverance or his determination, which is similar to Alita. Has that, you know, we've said this on several streams. Her determination is, I mean, it is otherworldly. Well, so is his, because, you know, in this particular case, now, not that he knew he had that daughter, you know, because I think he thought maybe she was dead, you know, but he pursued these pirates for all this time. So yeah, he's kind of like Alita in that regard too. When he gets that objective, he's gonna achieve the objective. So
Did you get a Barjack vibe from the Pirates?
yes, I did actually. Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, very much like the Barjack for sure. Yeah,
Sort of like Barjack when Din wasn't around
yeah,
to
yeah,
give them
exactly.
direction.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Particularly when they were fighting in that. Well, not just in that structure, that he comes up on them, but when they were chasing him through the marshland, I kind of got that feeling there too. That it was
Do,
very
do,
much like.
do you remember in the manga, like near the end of the manga, when Alita's not in it, but Kenya and Ido are trying to escape from that settlement that they were
Yes.
doctoring in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Barjack's attacking it and just destroying it
Yeah.
because it's a factory farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's more that sort of Barjack than the properly organized military version.
Yeah.
So it's just
Exactly.
like the guerrilla fighters coming in and wrecking
Well, these guys
face.
were pirates. I mean, they're not. Yeah, they're not a honed military unit. You could tell that when they were chasing him when he goes down in the manhole cover. And they without kind of scoping the place out, they just blindly chasing him. And allow him to set traps for them. Whereas someone who was organized in a kind of in the fashion of being military in the military, they would kind of check out the scene, to see, and trying to do some sort of assessment, what's happening, what the, where can I be ambushed or something like that. They didn't do that. They just blindly go after the guy, and he kills like three of them, I think, at that point, because they're just, they're not smart, in my opinion.
Because of the old school, not the Alita school.
Yes, yes, exactly.
I
So
reckon they're all hyped up on drugs.
probably so, yeah. Especially with all that screaming, that would explain that. Screaming like animals. Very much like animals. I go, what the heck? So
The script writers weren't feeling creative that day.
yeah. Well, they had to do something, I guess, with that low budget, I guess. So
Oh, as an aside, right at this very schedule, it said that we've actually got a schedule all the way up to episode 101. So
yes.
we have topics worked out. Yay! Oh, and
Yeah.
I'll also say that we're not having a stream on Christmas Day. Everybody's going to be a little bit busy, so we're going to jump Christmas Day.
Yeah, and I think the Creek is going to forego. I think mine would be on Christmas Eve or something like that.
It would be, yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to forego the Alita stream on Christmas Eve. So now we're both going to, I think we're going to have a Christmas thing, I guess, both streams, I guess. Max, I don't know. Are we through with the main topic? I guess.
Yeah, I think we've squeezed all the juice out of it.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah. Look, if just before we move on, if you're keen on 80s schlock permy cyberpunk, give this movie a look. It's I wouldn't say that it's a classic, but it's a good representation of the genre. And for $500,000, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
and if you're a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, check it out because he's ripped. He's a chunky boy.
He's good in that. For what they had, he did a good. I think he's a good actor. Actually, I think he's not just a fighter. I mean, he's a pretty good fighter. He's been in some other fighters like that one where he fights that guy in Muay Thai and all that. I can't remember the name of the movie now, but he's been in several movies like that where he's played a person that's in a competition with a really badass fighter, and stuff like that. So he's really good at that. But I think he's a good actor too. I think he's pretty good. I don't think. Go ahead.
There's one other notable point about this movie. It spawned 2 sequels.
Ah, perfect. That means that's good for us. Yeah,
Not one, but two. So
yeah,
yeah, you can look up the trilogy. So there you
yes,
go.
yeah,
I haven't seen 2 or 3 yet, so I'll have to dig them out sometime.
yeah. I haven't seen those either. I just saw the first one, so it's enjoyable. I mean, I wasn't bored with it. You know, uh, it does the dialogue does kind of drag a little bit in places. But and so does the story, I guess, in some places. But it's worth a watch, I think.
I was watching it with Angelus, and we were heckling a little bit. This
Yeah.
was late last night, so about 6 hours ago or something. Yeah. Oh, Angelus was supposed to host today, but he woke up feeling dreadful and had to go back to bed. So that's why we don't have him here. But he was down to host.
Yeah, his head's exploded. So anyway.
Apparently so.
Yeah. Okay. Anything
I don't
else?
know. They don't make these youngins as tough as the older guys, do they, Creaky?
No, they don't. Although I would say Angelus is pretty tough if you ask me. So Anyway, I guess I squeezed all we can out of this.
Yeah, I think it's squeezed right. So you, as I was saying, we do actually have topics laid out until 101. So, although 99 is still a little bit nebulous, we're still working on the plan.
Yeah, that's right.
But of
Fingers
course,
crossed.
Christmas is charging at us like a raging bull.
Yep.
And next week on Radio KAOS episode 95, we'll be talking Santa Alita. If there was an Alita Christmas special, what would it involve? So put your Christmas thinking hats on. As you can see, I've pinched Lou's latest effort in Christmas Alita for my PFP today, and I'll be using it again next week. And we'll talk Christmas and Alita and what would a Christmas special involve. And of course, if you've read the side stories in the original series manga, you might have some ideas based on that. I'll just drop that one.
That's exactly right. That's right.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the manga side stories a little bit there. It's called Holy Night if you haven't read it, so you should go and hunt that one down.
Yep. Yeah, Holy Night and Other Stories, I think is what it's called.
Yep, but it's actually Holy Night. Holy Night is the Christmas story.
That thumbnail reminds me of a meme.
I was actually quite surprised when I started getting back into anime again how big Christmas is in Japan. Being a country that doesn't have a huge amount of Catholicism, there's like Shintoism and various other religions. They're big on Christmas. Might be that after World War II they became very much focused on producing mass goods for public consumption. Like electronics and things like that. That Christmas became important because it's old shit. That could be why they're big on Christmas. But yeah, they're big on Christmas. They're big on
KFC on Christmas.
Valentine's Day as well. But on Valentine's Day, the women give men chocolate, not the other way around. And there's another day called White Day, where the men give women chocolate.
Yeah, on Valentine's Day, you wouldn't want to be dating Alita because she wouldn't give you her chocolate.
Nope, sorry, not happening.
Not happening.
She might give you one little block off the whole bar, but
yeah, maybe if you're lucky.
Maybe
Yeah. Yeah, but she's gonna want that chocolate. So that's that.
Yeah.
I know. I was in Malaysia a few years ago, and they celebrate Christmas there too. Now it's kind of like Japan. It's not a heavy duty Christian. Matter of fact, it's a Muslim country. But they still celebrate Christmas and gift giving and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Well, I mean the whole Christmas tree with the lights and all the songs and all the other stuff that goes with it. It's enjoyable. It's like family time. It's
exactly.
It's not a bad thing to celebrate, even if you're not Catholic.
That's right.
And everybody loves a good gift giving.
Yes, they do.
So so next week is episode 95. It's going to be our Christmas one because the next one would be on Christmas. We're going to jump that. Then after that one, we've got the second Alita Army Radio Chaos anniversary. I'm going to have to get my my study side out. I'm going to have to do another summary of what's happened in the last year on Radio Chaos. Things like the later Caligridis episode, which was pretty damn awesome. So we'll be looking at the highlights there. We'll be listing all the people who've been guests. We'll do all
Tilly
that fun
Lockie
stuff.
too. Tilly
Oh
Lockie.
yes, definitely Tilly. Yeah. So we've had some good guests on. And that will be 96. So we'll be looking down the barrel of 99. But 97 on January the 8th, we'll be back to the manga to finish up the first volume, which is Chapter 7, Compassion. So that'll be on January the 8th. And then hopefully I can convince some Alita artists to come on for another Alita art stream on January 15th. That's the hope anyway. They're always so damn busy. And then on January 22nd will be our 99th episode, unless something happens and there's not enough of us here and we have to skip a week, like people go on holidays or something. But theoretically, if everything goes to plan, and it never does on Radio KAOS, January 22nd
to February 14, the anniversary of the film. I don't know. Anyway, I just realized my mic was muted. Not on the YouTube side, but on your side, so you guys can even hear me talking a lot of times.
Yeah.
Oh, so we were talking over you. I'm really sorry, man.
Sorry about that.
I had the mic muted. I didn't realize it. But yeah, I had a comment about this image. I had a meme like this with Alita holding the gifter in her hand, and now I just remembered it, and I have no idea if I even still have it anymore. But now I have to look for it.
I have it if you want it. I started to use that here, but I wouldn't be able to get the letters on it.
I'm not even sure if I have it anymore.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Pass
I got
it back.
that. Yeah, I'll send it to you in the DM, Tony.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I should look. Maybe I still have the PSD file somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, the closest we'd get to February 14th would be February 11th. So we wouldn't be exactly on the 14th. But so theoretically, January 22nd, unless we take a hiatus, it is summer down here, so we're on summer holidays. But we might do a poll on Twitter and see if you want us to delay it to near the 14th, will be the 11th, or whether we should just keep chugging on. So we'll see what you guys think.
It's probably fine because I think it did debut like in Europe on the 20 something in January. I think it's like the early
pre-release,
pre-release maybe. So I mean, that's not really too bad. So probably just keep it the way it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're attempting to get a special guest, but we'll just see what happens. We'll try these things. See if anybody's willing to be nice to us. But so 99 is the 99 celebration. More details as they solidify, and that will be January 22nd unless otherwise advised. Episode 100 on January 29th will be Alita versus Black Lotus, derivative or referential. So that one will be hopefully led by Angelus. Hopefully he'll be here for that one. He won't be working.
And his head wouldn't have exploded.
Well, you start talking to him about Black Lotus, and that's exactly what happens. So,
yeah.
He loves that show. So by January 29, hopefully most of the first season will be out, if not all of it, and then we can dive into that one and do the similarities and differences with Alita. Because if you talk to Angelus about it, he will bend your ear about how Black Lotus should be the way that Alita is portrayed in the series. So that will be an interesting show, that one. Mm-hmm. And then episode 101 on February 4th will be How Did Rollerball 1975 Influence Gumu? So that one will be creaky. Hopefully we won't be traveling that day.
Yeah, well, no, probably not. I mean, when I do travel now during the winter, I don't like driving across country because you always run into that, occasional snow. You don't want to be
Mm.
driving on the interstate, but
Oh, for sure.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's going to be kind of a look at rollerball and motorball, because I think Kishiro did say something about that rollerball was one of the things that he did
Oh, yeah.
research and that kind of thing, to help him formulate this game called motorball. So yeah, we'll take a look at it and see, where they're similar and what the influence was and stuff like that.
Well, rollerball was the impetus for motorball. I know that much. So
Yeah,
you're right on the money.
Yeah,
yeah,
we talked about that in one episode that was on Alita's influences.
yeah,
But we can cover it again because there was still some things we could talk about.
yeah.
Well, we'll basically go into the same detail we did for these two movies. So we'll watch it and we'll analyze it and we'll talk about how it is similar and how it's different. So that'll be interesting because I haven't actually seen that movie. I haven't seen it. So
Oh, it's a good movie. I've seen it probably 10 times.
well, there you go.
Yeah, not near as much as our girl, though. But
Of course
yeah,
not.
it's a good movie. Yeah, of course, I'm not going to watch anything as much as our girl. But anyway, so
So the reason that I went through all of that is because we're always looking for guests. We don't have any today because uh, this was a sort of a last minute choice of topic. So I wanted to try and map some stuff out and see if we can get some of you guys interested in coming on and talking about these things because we always love to hear new opinions. Of course, Creaky and I can talk about Alita ad nauseum, which you probably realize if you've listened to any of these streams. But we always love to have new people come on and give us their take because it's interesting to hear what other people think. I learn things from every new guest that we come on. That comes on. So I really enjoy that, and I'm hopeful that we can get a few of you to come on and tell us your ideas. We're always interested. So, yeah, next week is Santa Alita. If there's an Alita Christmas special, what would it involve? If you want to be involved in that topic, if you want to come on and have some Christmas fun with us, please sign up on the sign-up sheet, which should normally be linked below, but it doesn't look like it's there today. We might need to add that, guys, so that it's on the bottom of the recording. But go to any of the other live streams that we've got on the channel, and you'll find the link there. That's a link to a Google Doc. If you have a Google account, you can sign straight into that, and you could put your Twitter handle or email address or however you want us to contact you under one of those topics that I've listed just now, and we'd be very happy to have you come on. We'll send you out a link of how to get onto the streaming platform that we're using, and we'll guide you and give you lots of help and get you to come on and talk to us here. Of course, if you feel that the official, in inverted commas, the official... Sorry, what was that?
I added all the info to the description now.
Oh, thank you. Yep, there it is. It just popped up. Thank you so much. So it's there now. Guest sign-up sheet is what you're after. Click on that link and sign up under the topic of your choice. Just make sure that you're available for that week at the time that you would normally see this live, and we'll go from there. So that'd be great. So, of course, if you find that this is a little bit intimidating because we have a topic and we have show notes and we're all organized and stuff, if you feel that's a little bit too intimidating, there is a more relaxed sort of lounge version of an online Alita live stream discussion. Creaky, take it away.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. We are not organized. Many times, sometimes Creaky or Angelus and I will come up with a topic the day before the stream. We'll do that. But we've always put a link, in the chat if you want to jump on for just 5 minutes. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're fluent in English or whatever. If you can just come on and say, "I love Alita," you're good to go with us. So, because we really love Alita Battle Angel, and we talk about her on that stream too. But I think next week we're going to do a little bit of a Christmas thing too. So, it won't be as organized as this one, but we might put up some Christmas pictures or photos or something like that, art, and then maybe just quick discussion and maybe just talk in general about Alita, and then do that, So Angelus and I host that stream every Friday, Saturday if you're in down under or you're across the international date line.
In the future.
And yeah, if you're in the future, that's right. If you're in the future, then of course it's going to be on Saturday, and it's roughly about 22 hours ahead of this stream, I think. So we're real friendly on both these streams. We're not, we just love hearing from folks that love Alita, and that's that's it. That's the big thing with us. We all want that sequel.
I've just done a quick calculation. It's 16 hours.
Well, no, I mean our stream is on 22 hours.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, I thought you meant how far are we ahead of you guys, which is 16
hours.
Oh,
no, you're 16 hours.
72 hours between the two streams. You're quite
right. That's right.
Doesn't matter where in the world you are.
Yeah, and we are wide open on Alita live stream. We frequently devolve from the main topic. So, and we are Radio Chaos Cubed is what we are. So, we are chaotic. So,
but the beauty of their stream is that if you have something you want to come on and talk about with Alita, jump on. They're not too fussed about moving off the topic. And of course, with Radio Chaos, we kind of like you to sign up ahead of time so we can advertise it that you're coming on, and you might find that a bit intimidating. Whereas the link to the StreamYard, which is the platform that Creaky uses, will be dropped in the text chat. So rather than having to think about it and get all nervous, which I know a lot of people, suffer from anxiety and do get nervous thinking about getting up and talking in front of others, you can just, if they're talking about something you're really interested in to do with the leader and you have an opinion, you click on that link, you're in there in a couple of seconds and you're just talking like you're on a conference call. It's so easy. And with COVID, everybody's had to use streaming platforms. They've had to talk on Zoom and all those sorts of things for school and work and stuff like that. It's just the same as that. It just happens to be being streamed to YouTube. That's the only difference. It's easy. It's fun. We don't bite unless we're asked several times to do so. So
yeah,
come on and enjoy.
Yeah. So that's our stream. I mean, we're wide open. So.
Now we've got a big discussion going on in the text chat. Charles Smith has jumped in and he's dropping truth bombs and opinions are flying. So that's cool. It's always good to have lively text chat. So thanks all you guys for adding stuff in the text chat. We really appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for joining us, whether it's live or in the recording. We always appreciate you being involved. The whole point of these live streams is to keep Alita current, to keep you thinking about her, and keep you pushing towards a sequel. We are your cheer squad. You are the guys who are going to get a sequel. We are your cheer squad. We are here to cheer you on. We want to see what amazing things you can do towards Alita, and what everything that we can possibly do, we should be doing to get that sequel, and then that series, and then that saga, and then multiple sagas, and all the movies, all the animes, all the books, all the merch. We want it all, and we want it now, as Queen used to say.
Yeah.
But you guys are what makes the fandom special. So thank you for being part of the Alita Army. We appreciate you. I hope you appreciate each other. We're a friendly fandom. It's always awesome. And we hope that you stick around for a long, long, long time, keeping up with what's happening and being part of getting those sequels, because we want them. So that about wraps it up for today. Any last comments, Creaky or Tony?
Can't think of any.
Nope, I don't have any.
Okay, everybody's good. We've done the deed. Thank you for joining us. And as we like to say at the end of every stream, 3, 2, 1, film those sequels, baby. Catch you next week, guys. We'll talk about Christmas then. Bye for now.
You know, back when I was in the academy, we would follow every toast with a song.
You can't.
Gosh, Interesting twist.